The Young and the Restless scoop for Monday, October 27th, reveals Tessa Porter will admit to Daniel Romalotti. Her marriage may already be over. Also coming up, Lily Winters will be angry with Cain Ashby. Plus, Adam Newman will needle Cain, and Phyllis Summers will brag to Danny Romalotti. YNR spoilers tease Tessa will dream about making love to Daniel, and it'll be quite intense. However, it'll turn into a nightmare when a policewoman shows up at the door of her suite. She'll say she has a warrant for Mariah Copeland's arrest. At the GCAC restaurant, Cain will walk up to Adam and Chelsea Newman and ask where he can find Victor Newman. Adam will laugh and say he has no idea. Then he'll encourage Cain to leave town. Adam will add that Cain has no allies and no friends. Lily will arrive and Chelsea's eyes will widen. She better not give him a reason to stay, Adam will say. But Chelsea will remind him Cain has made it clear he's not going anywhere. The couple will spend the rest of the episode talking about their son, who hasn't been on screen in months, and how Chelsea doesn't like his new therapist. At Lily and Cain's table, she'll say she assumes he's going to give her the AI program so she can destroy it. But Cain will tell her he's been hacked and the program is gone. Not surprisingly, Lily will be skeptical. However, Cain will say he can prove it. Honoring my promise to you is the most important thing in the world to me. So Lily will believe him. Cain will say he has a good idea who did it. She'll ask who, and Cain will say it's Phyllis or Victor. Lily will tell him that whatever happens, it's on him. Cain will promise that whoever has it, he's going to find out and destroy it. Meanwhile, Phyllis will walk onto the Crimson Lights patio to find her son sitting there with sunglasses on. He'll take them off, and she'll see he's completely hungover. Then Danny will come along. He'll take one look at Daniel and his eyes will widen. Daniel will explain he was with Tessa, but won't give his parents any details, except that they had wine and followed it up with whiskey. "I told you not to go after Tessa. You didn't listen to me," Phyllis will tell him. "You look horrible. You look like death." Then Tessa will call, and Daniel will take it inside. She'll invite Daniel to her suite for breakfast. He'll return to the table to grab his sunglasses. "Someone has a pep in their step," Phyllis will say. Daniel will tell his parents he loves them and head out. Phyllis will once again taunt Danny about his upcoming nuptials with the bug, saying he's about to marry the most boring person on the planet. She'll keep looking at her phone, and Danny will ask if she's waiting for someone. Phyllis will brag that she's got a lot going on and this time she's going to win. Then she'll get a text from Victor, telling her to come to the ranch. Danny will look at her phone and see it. "My God, Phyllis, I was worried about you before, but now I'm terrified," he'll say. "What have you gotten yourself into this time?" Finally, Daniel will arrive at Tessa's suite, and she'll tell him about her dream. She'll add she doesn't know what the dream is trying to tell her. Tessa will tell Daniel they definitely have a connection that means a lot to them both, but Daniel will say it can't go beyond that. They both know it and accept it. "Not while I'm married," Tessa will reply. She'll say when she visited Mariah in Boston, her wife kept pushing her away. Was that the beginning of the end, and I just didn't know it? Hey YNR fans, are you enjoying the new CBS Sudser Beyond the Gates? Then make sure you join our free Facebook group. Keep reading The Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our YNR Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. On The Young and the Restless, Nick and Mitch haven't met yet, but something tells us that when they do, we're going to be in for a treat, now that we know Mitch is Sienna's husband. Nick met her on Thursday's episode. She gave him some answers about the last time she saw Noah. Did Mitch run him off the road? If he did, then he will become Nick's next enemy. On Thursday's episode of The Young and the Restless, Nick bumped into Kyle, Claire, and Holden, who are all coincidentally staying at the same LA hotel. That alone is strange, as fans have pointed out, considering that LA is such a big city. It was a lucky coincidence for Nick, since Sienna was there, having a mysterious talk with Holden. She returned to her club and invited Nick to join her, since he had questions for her about Noah. She told Nick that Mitch is her husband. He visited Noah at his London club, and he gave Noah the idea to open a club in LA. Sienna said he's Noah's friend, but was she telling the truth? Is Mitch really a shady character who poses a threat to Noah? Could he be the reason Noah is in the hospital, fighting for his life? If that's the case, then Nick is going to go into Papa Bear mode. And watch out, Mitch. Fans of The Young and the Restless are wondering whether Nick is going to become involved with Sienna. He hasn't been with anyone in a long time. It looked like he might reunite with Sharon after their kiss in Nice, France. But nothing has happened yet. Right now, Nick doesn't know what to think of Sienna. He fired off questions for her, one after the other in rapid-fire succession, like a homicide detective. That might have put her on edge, since she didn't give him a straight answer when he asked her why she didn't answer his call the other day. She let it go to voicemail. What could she be hiding? And if Mitch is indeed her husband, then where is he, and why haven't we met him yet? If he caused Noah's accident, maybe she knows and she's protecting him by keeping quiet. Nick hasn't had any arch-enemies in a while. One of his most formidable enemies on The Young and the Restless was Matt Clark. Matt made Nick's blood boil, and Nick needs another enemy of that caliber. Matt was his rival for Sharon, who he raped at one point. It would be dramatic and soapy if Mitch Bacall could become Nick's next Matt Clark. Matt hurt someone Nick loves. If Mitch did the same to one of Nick's other loved ones, then Nick will make sure there is hell to pay. But let's hope Nick goes up against Mitch, not Victor. Victor has enough foes, like Jack and Cain. Nick needs his own enemy. If it turns out to be Mitch, then we're sure to be in for a fun ride on The Young and the Restless, because we don't know what Nick will be up against. Is this the first time Mitch has ever endangered someone's life, or has he done it to others in the past? If Noah suffers permanent brain damage, then we can only imagine how furious Nick will be at the culprit who caused the crash. If that culprit was Mitch, then what possible reason could he have for running Noah off the road? Did Noah have evidence of something shadowy that Mitch did? Did Mitch stop him from going to the police with it? And where does Holden fit into all this? Could he be an old friend of Mitch's who may have been involved somehow? If so, then Nick needs to get to the bottom of it. Let's see Nick and Mitch become the next great pair of Y&R enemies. Joshua Morrow, Nick's portrayer, will rock those scenes, especially if Mitch and Holden were involved. That means Nick will have two enemies to deal with. Get them, Nick. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, October 28th, reveal that Jack Abbott will get a mysterious message, while Billy Abbott loses it on Adam Newman. Y&R fans know Adam has a knack for pushing Billy to his breaking point. That's exactly what Adam will do on Tuesday's episode. So Billy's anger will boil over and cause him to lash out in a big way. After Adam provokes his rival, Billy will sock him in the face and send Adam hurling to the floor at the GCS. Chelsea Lawson will gape in shock as she walks in and witnesses this sudden attack, so she may blast Billy for getting physical. Of course, Billy will blame Adam and most likely rip into Chelsea for becoming Victor Newman's little soldier. Chelsea has definitely become more loyal to the Newmans lately, but that's to be expected since her love for Adam is growing stronger every day. Next, let's talk about Victor, since he's about to reach a risky agreement. Phyllis Summers will confess to stealing Cain Ashby's AI program and pitch a deal to Victor, so he'll decide to strike one with her. Both Victor and Phyllis will have to be careful since neither one of them is trustworthy. Nevertheless, this is a situation where Phyllis and Victor will decide to take the risk, since the payoff could be beyond their wildest dreams. Over with Jack, he'll mull over a mysterious message. It's possible that'll be from Kyle Abbott if he drops cryptic hints about what he's up to in Los Angeles. But this could be about Cain Ashby setting up a meeting instead. We know Cain will indeed stop by the Abbott mansion with critical updates, so he might send a mysterious message to Jack beforehand. Whatever the case, Cain will ultimately let Jack and Diane Jenkins Abbott know that a storm is brewing. Now that Cain has lost control of the AI program, he'll deliver that unsettling news to the Abbotts and warn that they could soon be under attack. Cain may admit he's not sure whether Phyllis or Victor is behind the theft, but he'll know trouble could be brewing either way. Since Victor and Phyllis are on the verge of teaming up, The Young and the Restless spoilers say disaster could indeed strike for multiple Genoa City residents. The Young and the Restless recap for Monday, October 27th, reveals that a Mariah Copeland arrest dream will rattle Tessa Porter, while Cain Ashby reports a theft to Lily Winters. At the GKC, Cain will interrupt Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman's conversation. Victor Newman won't be returning Cain's calls, so he'll seek help getting in touch with Adam's father. Adam will act like the Newmans have devoted enough time to Cain and will encourage him to leave Genoa City. Cain will make it clear that he's sticking around and will taunt Adam about the lawsuits headed the Newmans' way. After Lily shows up, Cain will join her at a table and eventually admit the AI program was stolen thanks to his hacked system. Lily will be skeptical of the news since she just asked Cain for the program with the intention of destroying it. Cain will assure Lily that he wants that too, but he'll suspect Phyllis Summers or Victor might have stolen the program with other plans. Lily will make it clear that whatever happens next with the program is on Cain, but he'll be determined to get it back so they can destroy it together. Back with Adam and Chelsea, they'll discuss how Connor Newman doesn't seem to be clicking with his new therapist, so they'll talk about finding him one that's a better fit. At Crimson Lights, Phyllis will find Daniel Romalotti Jr. wearing sunglasses and realize he had a rough night. Danny Romalotti will join the conversation and have concerns of his own. Phyllis will put it together that Daniel must be hungover after drinking with Tessa and will wonder if his heart's hungover too. Daniel will downplay everything, but both Phyllis and Danny will seem concerned about him getting in too deep with a married woman. In Tessa's suite at the GKC, she'll dream about stripping down for a passionate encounter with Daniel. Just as Tessa and Daniel about to heat things up in bed, there'll be a knock at the door. Tessa will answer it in the dream and speak with a cop who has a warrant for Mariah's arrest on attempted murder charges. After Tessa wakes up startled, she'll call Daniel and ask him to come to her room for breakfast. Phyllis and Danny will suspect Daniel is going off to meet Tessa again, so they'll be even more worried about this whole situation. However, Danny will shift gears and worry about Phyllis soon after Daniel leaves. Phyllis will drop hints about her destiny before getting a text from Victor to come to the ranch. Danny will wonder if Victor is part of Phyllis's destiny now, so he'll be terrified for her on Monday's Y&R episode. Once Daniel makes his way to Tessa's suite, things will be a bit awkward. Tessa will eventually talk about her dream and question if it was about guilt or some sort of psychic prediction. Daniel will support Tessa in the midst of all this, but he'll know that nothing can happen between them. Tessa will clarify that it can't happen while she's married, but she'll have to ask herself if her clinic visit in Boston was the beginning of the end. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Tessa will have to make some important choices about her future with Mariah in the coming episodes, so stay tuned for updates on what she'll decide. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that we've got a Halloween preview for you, so fans can expect some dirty tricks, sweet treats, and spooky twists. The October 31st episode will bring some fun moments as well as some shocking news, so let's dive in and discuss all the drama. For starters, Kyle Abbott will pull out all the stops for Harrison Abbott. Harrison has been working hard on his costume and is anxiously awaiting his dad's return home, so Kyle won't want to let him down. It sounds like Kyle will make it back to Genoa City in plenty of time for a celebration with Harrison. This father-son reunion should lead to some cute Halloween scenes as Kyle makes the night extra special for Harrison. Meanwhile, Claire Newman will catch Holden Novak by surprise and leave him more intrigued by her than ever. Y&R spoilers say Claire will let Holden see a new version of her, so that sounds like a clever way of saying she'll don a costume of her own. Holden and Claire may be gearing up for some Halloween party fun, especially if they head back to the Shadow Room. Although Holden may be a little wary about hanging around Sienna Bacall again in Claire's presence, he may go along with the idea to avoid more suspicion. Besides, Y&R needs to make the most of that shiny new nightclub set and use it as much as possible. On another note, Halloween will take a disturbing turn for Sharon Newman, who'll go looking for answers. Sharon will plan to do whatever it takes to uncover the truth behind Noah Newman's car crash, but she may get on someone's bad side in the process. Some danger is on the way for Sharon next, so stay tuned for updates on the threat she's about to face. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Sharon could find herself in need of a rescue, so Nick Newman might step up for her when it counts. On the Friday, October 24th episode of The Young and the Restless, Billy and Sally clashed over Audra. Kyle dug into Holden's past, and Cain confronted Phyllis over the stolen AI program. Billy and Sally planned the second attempt at a launch party for Abbott Communications. They wanted to deliver this time, and Billy had an idea. He came up with an idea to integrate their company into the platform of a rising social media company. Sally felt that Audra would have connections in Los Angeles to further the idea. Billy paused, and he praised Sally for everything she's done at the company, but he warned her against bringing Audra on board. He felt that hiring Audra at the company would be Sally's first major mistake as CEO of Abbott Communications. She asked if he was pitching for her not to hire Audra. Sally reminded Billy of Audra's experience, and although he said it was her call, he voiced his concern. He thought Sally gave Audra the job based on their friendship, not on the merit of her talents. Sally questioned why hiring Audra would be an issue if she was qualified for the job. Still, Bill persisted in his thoughts that Audra would be more of a liability to the fledgling company than an asset. He cited Glissade and Vibrante as two startups that Audra was attached to, which went up in flames. Neither company got off the ground, and he joked that she'd want to change the name to something more provocative. Sally was perplexed by the sudden doubt regarding Audra, but he said he was more committed than ever. She said if he was going to take a back seat at the company, Audra would still have a job. Sally wanted her friend to remain attached to the company, but Billy brought up a factor that Sally may not have considered. He questioned, "One major reason is my mother. Does Jill know that Audra's part of the deal?" Sally never mentioned it, but she didn't see how it would make a difference. She believed in Audra, and she wanted her on board. Billy understood Sally's need to protect the people she loved, and she did the same for him, but he wanted the suggestion to sink in. He thought the only way for her to hire Audra was to run it through Jill first. Billy was certain Jill wouldn't agree to it. Sadly for Billy, Sally was adamant that Audra remain at the company. She hyped Audra as one of the best candidates for the position. Billy wanted Sally to speak to Jill before he hired Audra, but Sally thought it set a dangerous precedent. Billy wanted an olive branch from Jill. He didn't enjoy the hoops she was making him jump through. Sally wondered if Billy regretted giving her so much power at the company, but he maintained his faith in her. Well, that is what Billy thought she wanted, but her true intentions were to uncover if he still had aspirations to snatch back Chancellor. Billy promised he had no hang-ups with Sally being the CEO of the company, but he remained worried about Jill's reaction to hiring Audra. He thought she needed to bring it to Jill's attention first, and while Sally appreciated his advice, she was more concerned about his issues. She felt like Billy held on to the pain and resentment against Jill for stealing Chancellor from him. Sally questioned whether this would boil over into Abbott Communications, and she recognized he was still obsessed with Chancellor beneath the surface. Billy's past actions and his tendency to fall back were what made her the most nervous. He assured her he wouldn't do anything to risk ruining their relationship. Audra arrived at Society and joined Billy and Sally at the table. She proclaimed that she was excited about the relaunch and getting back to work. Audra wanted to discuss the launch party, but she got the sense that something wasn't right. Audra suggested they take the time to clarify her role at Abbott Communications. "Just how exactly do you see me fitting now that Billy is back on board?" she asked. Billy told her that her role at AC was in flux, and Sally declared it was because they had to run the new hires by the investor. However, she denied Audra's request to meet with the investor. In Los Angeles, Claire was confused about Kyle finally agreeing to go back to Genoa City. She just wanted space, but she didn't need him to pack up and head home. He questioned whether she was disappointed to see him leave, and she confirmed that the way he handled her emotions with sensitivity surprised her. Claire had been quite harsh to him because he didn't give her space. However, it touched her that Kyle recognized how seeing Noah in the hospital would stir up unresolved issues about her father's death. Claire recalled how well Kyle could read her, and it was a reminder of how close they once were. Kyle asserted he was more in love with Claire than ever, but he needed to give her what she asked for. She begged for time and space from him, but now he wondered if something had changed. Holden arrived on the rooftop in the midst of their conversation, which prompted Kyle to offer to remove him. However, Claire still wanted to continue her plans with Holden. She told Kyle it was his choice. Holden offered Claire a drink, and she seemed poised to take him up on it. Kyle looked at this phone and decided it was time to visit the shadow room to interrogate Sienna about Holden's past. Claire thanked Holden for everything he'd done for her so far on the trip to Los Angeles. She felt like he made it easy to be around him. Holden admitted he had a high opinion of himself. While he tried, he couldn't think of any flaws. He admitted that he didn't always have the best timing and considered that he interrupted a moment between Claire and Kyle. He recognized how conflicted she'd become about the possibility of Kyle heading home to Genoa City. Holden didn't think love was simple, and he didn't want to add to any stress between her and Kyle. Holden observed that Kyle was terrified to lose Claire, and he understood why. He showered Claire with compliments, and while she appreciated them, she couldn't move past talking about Kyle. Claire explained the wonderful things about Kyle and expressed that their breakup wasn't solely about his indiscretion with Audra. She needed to find herself, but she wasn't any closer to figuring it out. Holden wondered if the trip to Los Angeles wasn't working for her. Holden enjoyed having her there and swore he didn't want her to go back to Los Angeles. Nevertheless, he wanted the best for her. He didn't want her to remain by his side out of obligation, but she wondered if his sudden attitude shift was related to the heated conversation that he had with Sienna. She didn't think it was friendly, and she wanted to know if it was related to his urge to get her back to GC. Claire wanted information on Holden's past with Audra, but he begged her to leave it alone. He said it was in the past, and he's moved on from it. Claire didn't think that was possible, and she reminded him that she could read him well. She knew he was withholding information from her, and she wanted to know from him or she'd ask Sienna. He downplayed the severity of his troubled past and changed the subject. Holden didn't believe that Sienna knew anything about him or Audra. Kyle arrived at the shadow room and overheard Sienna leaving a voicemail for her husband, Mitch. Sienna had been unable to reach Mitch for 2 days, and they needed to discuss the latest developments. He asked to join her and introduced himself as Kyle Abbott from Genoa City. He had a few questions for her about Holden, but she wanted to know the intent of his inquiry. Kyle stated, "I'm just trying to keep him away from the woman I love." She assumed that Claire was the woman Kyle referred to. Unfortunately for Kyle, Sienna declined to divulge any information on Holden. She felt like Claire could handle herself, and she admitted Claire and Holden looked close the night before. Sienna pointed out how much Kyle loved Claire, but she thought Claire had already moved on. He defended Claire to Sienna, but he switched gears and asked to discuss someone else. Kyle asked Sienna to tell him everything about Audra Charles. He told Sienna he wouldn't leave town until he got information about Audra from her. She called Kyle's issues with Audra a hang-up and wanted no part of that mess. Before Kyle could extract any information from Sienna, she finally got a call from Mitch. However, she told Kyle to come back later that night for something he could use against Audra. Cain wanted to believe Phyllis wouldn't steal the AI program from him, but he was unsure. He thought Phyllis was about to kiss him, but she laughed at the idea. She assured Cain that there was nothing to hide, so she wasn't concerned. Phyllis joked about Cain's thought that she was trying to seduce him. She called it crazy that she'd resort to weaponizing her body to evade, and she pretended to be deeply offended by the notion. Phyllis pushed Cain in the direction of finding his AI program, but he demanded she help him discover the culprit. She wanted the two of them to work together to uncover the thief's identity. Cain was concerned that whoever had it would use it to destroy his company. She pressed the idea of Victor being the perpetrator, but he seemed convinced it was her. Cain asked Phyllis to walk her through her thought process. She brought up the Newman media expose and felt like that was the precursor to stealing his program. Phyllis suggested they confront Victor about the theft of the program, but Cain assured he'd take care of Victor himself. However, he needed Phyllis to undo the damage that had already been done by the Newmans to his reputation. She thought it was a program because she didn't have the program. Phyllis stood her ground and asserted she wasn't responsible for the theft, but he wanted help restoring his reputation first. Phyllis got the sense that Cain wanted her to steal the AI program if she wasn't the one who made off with it. Phyllis doubted Cain's faith in her, but she wasn't happy with the changing plan. He was rattled by the theft of the AI program, which stressed him out because he couldn't repair his reputation faster. He asked her to retrieve the AI program while he focused on distracted Victor. Cain left Phyllis' room, but not before calling someone to spy on Phyllis for him. Phyllis texted Victor and demanded an urgent meetup. Here are your spoilers for The Young and the Restless for the week of Monday, October 24th to Friday, October 31st, 2025. Be sure to tune in to CBS every day to see how things play out in Genoa City. Cain makes a confession to Lily Daniel, and Tessa set ground rules. Adam and Chelsea face an unexpected challenge. Victor strikes an unexpected deal. Jack receives a cryptic message. Adam pushes Billy too far. Nikki and Victoria arrive in Los Angeles. Kyle interrogates Sienna. Phyllis protects her interests. Thursday, October 30th. Victor offers Michael a second chance. Billy and Phyllis trade intel. Jack takes a stand to protect Jabot. Sharon's search for answers sends her down a dangerous path. The Young and the Restless character, Sally Spectra, played by Daytime Emmy winner Courtney Hope, got some pushback from Billy after she wanted to hire her pal, Audra Charles, to work at the This Time It's Really Going to Happy Abbott Communications. Now, Hope is explaining why her alter ego is devoted to Billy despite some obstacles. Well, for a lot of reasons, I think, Hope told Soap Opera Digest as to why she stands by Billy. For starters, she cares about him and has grown to care for him and who he is. As someone who has fought her adult life, going back to her days in the fashion world on The Bold and the Beautiful in Los Angeles, Sally can relate to Billy wanting to establish himself in the business world. Sally's a throwback to strong-willed, passionate heroines of black and white movies from the 1940s and 50s. She's had a rough life and childhood and has been searching for a bigger family and a relationship. Her heart is huge. For those reasons, she continues to fight for the people around her, which includes Billy and her pal, Audra. Sally walks that fine line between going to the mat but not going overboard. Sally says that she and Billy have had many happy times as a couple. He believes in her, and she really likes who she is when they're good, Hope notes. While Audra's done some unethical things, like trying to bed Kyle in France so she could get funding for Vibrante, Hope believes that Sally sees the best in people. Sally also feels that Audra could be an asset to Abbott Communications. She can relate to Billy having setbacks in life, as she's suffered the same. Billy's not the first person whom she's had to try to keep in line. Fortunately, Hope believes that Sally likes to multitask and take on projects. As someone who's had to make her own way in life, Sally can see the reasons why Billy wants to prove himself to everyone. However, Hope feels that Billy and Sally try to achieve their respective goals in different ways. The Young and the Restless. Spoilers for Monday, October 27th, reveal that Phyllis Summers will offer Victor Newman a deal regarding the AI program, which she'll admit to stealing from Cain Ashby. Victor is always wary and skeptical when it comes to Phyllis, so he may be hesitant to even take the urgent meeting she's demanding. Nevertheless, Phyllis will worm her way in the ranch and will convince Victor to hear her out. That'll lead to Phyllis confessing that she's stolen Cain's powerful program, which will certainly get Victor's attention. Phyllis will express her desire to strike a deal with Victor and hope that he's willing to work something out. Of course, Victor won't trust Phyllis any more than she trusts him, but this could be a mutually beneficial arrangement. Phyllis will spell out the terms she's looking for, so it'll be interesting to see what Victor's response is. Victor may initially worry that Phyllis is still working for Cain and setting some kind of trap. However, Phyllis may argue that Cain has gone soft and is forcing her to explore other options. Regardless, Phyllis might make Victor an offer that he simply can't refuse, especially if it means the chance to use this program to target Jabot. As for Phyllis, Y&R fans know she always looks out for number one and may work multiple angles in the midst of all this. Phyllis might try to set Victor up for the theft and make Cain believe Victor really did steal it when she actually gave it to him. In the meantime, Cain will feel the need to fill Jack Abbott in on the stolen program drama. Since Cain no longer has control of the destructive software, he'll give Jack that disturbing news during a visit to the Abbott house. Diane Jenkins Abbott will also be on hand for this discussion, so she'll get updates on the program that could be unleashed on the Abbott's family business soon enough. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Jack and Diane will do some strategizing after Cain stops by. So stay tuned to see what their next move will be. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Audra Charles and Noah Newman's baby may have survived. Will an illegal adoption secret be exposed and tie in with all the Los Angeles chaos? Kyle Abbott wasn't able to score the Holden Novak dirt he came for when he paid Sienna Bacall a visit in the October 24th episode. However, Kyle didn't want to leave empty-handed and ultimately pushed Sienna for Audra leverage instead. Sienna was hesitant to divulge anything at first, but she eventually hinted she might be willing to after all and urged Kyle to come back later for info. What if Sienna knows Audra was pregnant and that she secretly gave the baby up, perhaps as part of a lucrative deal? Audra might have gotten Holden's help with a black market baby sale or something along those lines. Holden seems nervous about how much Sienna is aware of. Sienna may not have all the details, but she seems like the kind of woman who keeps her eyes and ears open at all times. Although Audra previously told Noah that she miscarried their baby, that may not be true. It's possible a rewrite will make it so Audra gave birth and hid Noah's child from him. Audra may have decided she wasn't ready to be a mom, and back then, she might have been tangled up in a dangerous situation where she needed money ASAP. Selling the baby to the highest bidder might have been the solution. It's possible that someone tipped Noah off to his son or daughter's existence. Noah might have been getting too close to the truth, which might explain why someone seemingly tried to wipe him off the map. Regardless, Sienna obviously has some Audra-related dirt that she now seems willing to spill to Kyle. Could Kyle help crack this case wide open and ultimately expose Audra for keeping Noah in the dark about his kid? Kyle knows what that's like since Tara Locke kept Harrison Abbott's existence a secret for the first few years of his life. Y&R fans watched as Kyle navigated all that drama, but maybe it'll be Noah's turn once he's awake. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kyle may get updates on some jaw-dropping news no matter what, so stay tuned to the CBS soap. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that the show recently offered a first look at Roger Howarth as Mitch Bacall. It's confirmed that Howarth is playing Sienna Bacall's husband, so let's talk about some new videos that are shaking things up. For starters, Tamara Braun leaked the news that Roger Howarth is indeed playing her TV hubby in a Daytime Emmys red carpet interview with Michael Fairman. Howarth will make his debut as Mitch Bacall soon. So many viewers are looking forward to his first appearance. Although suspicions were already swirling about Howarth playing Mitch, it's nice to get confirmation on that. There's been a lot of build-up so far when it comes to mysterious Mitch and any sinister secrets he might be hiding regarding Noah Newman. Was Mitch responsible for causing Noah's crash, or does he at least know who's to blame? Mitch will come on the scene with big secrets and a quirky vibe that only Howarth can deliver. Howarth is a unique actor who brings a special quality to all his roles, so you can bet that Mitch will be an intriguing character who's fun to watch. While fans wait on Howarth's debut episode, we can enjoy the brief glimpse of him that the Y&R Insider account offered on YouTube. That channel posted a Tamara Braun interview, which included a quick shot of Howarth in the role of Mitch. In the clip, Mitch is smiling as he steps forward at the Shadow Room, which is the nightclub he shares with Sienna. Nick Newman has been pumping Sienna for information, but it'll surely be Mitch's turn to face a grilling session eventually. It's clear that Nick won't stop until he uncovers the whole truth about Noah's ordeal, so we'll bring you updates on whatever shockers he might find out about Sienna, Mitch, Detective Burrow, and any other key players in Los Angeles. Are you looking forward to Roger Howarth's first appearance as Mitch Bacall? How do you think Mitch fits in all the Noah crash drama? The Young and the Restless spoilers say some curveballs are still in store out in LA, so we'll fill you in on any major developments. As previously announced, The Young and the Restless is bringing back Daytime Emmy winner Trisha Cast as Nina Webster for Cricket and Danny's wedding. Now, the bride herself, Laura Lee Bell, who plays Cricket, is giving a preview of what viewers can expect to see when Cast is back on screen. Next month, everyone will see how amazing you are in the wedding episodes. Bell wrote on Cast's post that shows the two pals and longtime co-stars in the Y&R makeup room. "When you are around, it feels like home. You girls! You both look 16, raved Tamara Clatterbuck. Added Danny Cricket fan. Yay! The Three Musketeers reunited. Welcome home. Valerie Pettiford wrote, "Everything." When Belle says Cast is amazing in the wedding episodes, does this mean we'll finally get to see Cast's Nina rip into Cain for his inadvertent role in the death of her son, Chance? If the reception is held at the Genoa City Athletic Club, Nina might run into the club's new owner there, right? After Chance died while trying to save Cain's life, Jack blasted that Nina and Jill, Jess Walton, Chance's grandmother, would be devastated. Alas, Chance's funeral was held off-screen, so we only heard about the devastation. We did get to see some of Jill's response as Walton popped up on screen later and played some of Jill's grief. Cast is one of YNR's and Daytime's most respected actresses. Her portrayal of Nina, a girl from the wrong side of the tracks, endeared her to viewers. Despite her machinations, viewers wanted Nina to win. Cast won a Daytime Emmy in 1992 for the storyline in which Nina allowed villain David Kimball into her life on The Young and the Restless. When she discovered that he had planned to kill her for the millions that she inherited after Philip III died, Nina shot David multiple times. She stood trial for his attempted murder and was found guilty. Initially, her clever attorney, John Silva, ETU, saw a juror who was expressing great emotion over the verdict. He asked the judge for the jury to be polled, which meant they would have to state that that was their verdict and that is their verdict. A lone juror said that she felt coerced into voting guilty, but that was not how she truly felt. The judge ordered the jurors back into the room to re-examine things. When they emerged a second time, Nina was found innocent. Welcome to The Young and the Restless Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. Cain and Phyllis have had many meetings since they first reconnected in France, but the one that took place in her hotel suite at the Genoa City Athletic Club took their relationship to a new level. Dressed in a sultry purple robe, Phyllis lowered her voice to an extra seductive tone as she and Cain bantered back and forth with one another. She coquettishly teased Cain that she'd never use her sexuality to get his mind off his stolen artificial intelligence program. He more or less came out and accused her of lying. This layered cat-and-mouse game continued as we wondered which one of these power players would crack first. Cain and Phyllis held extra eye contact with each other as they dared the other to crack. Cain knew if he outright accused Phyllis of taking the AI software, she'd deny it, and she'd have the upper hand. Conversely, Phyllis was practically daring Cain to come out and accuse her. Once Cain left Phyllis's room, he made a mysterious phone call, telling someone to keep an eye on Phyllis. Conversely, Phyllis texted a mystery person and said that they needed to talk. The plot thickens. What a great Friday tag. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full YNR recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not. Seriously, do not. Forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the As Close as We Can Come to Being a Watching Party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Byline, a Genoa City. Insider date, Monday, October 27th, 2025. This Monday, the restless air crackling between Los Angeles and Genoa City finally ignites, setting off a chain reaction of confrontations, betrayals, and desperate power plays. In Los Angeles, Kyle Abbott's downward spiral accelerates into a full-blown crash. Consumed by his obsession with Claire Newman and his determination to expose Holden Novak, Kyle makes a desperate stop at the Dark Room, the infamous nightclub run by the enigmatic Sienna Beale. Playing the concerned lover card, Kyle demands information on Holden, but Sienna, a woman who has seen countless powerful men unravel, is unimpressed. When Kyle's probing fails, he desperately pivots, asking what she knows about Audra Charles. Sienna merely laughs off his accusations, dismissing him entirely when a call from her husband interrupts the interrogation. She leaves Kyle with a chillingly simple truth. Claire is already with Holden, and it sounds like she's moved on. That's bad luck for you. Meanwhile, at a quiet hotel restaurant, Claire Newman is facing her own doubts. She confronts Holden directly about his tense private meeting with Sienna. He tries to defuse the situation, claiming it was merely business, but his guarded answers only deepen Claire's suspicion that she is surrounded by secrets. The night reaches its devastating climax when Kyle, raw from his humiliation, finds Claire and Holden. But the confrontation he wants never happens. Claire meets him with a tragic calmness, cutting deeper than any anger could. She tells him it's over. She thanks him for the love they once shared, but makes it clear that his obsessive behavior has destroyed any future they had. Her life is moving forward, with or without him. Holden's silent presence by her side confirms the devastating finality. Back in Genoa City, the battles are for power, not love. Billy Abbott storms into Abbott Communications to confront Sally Spectra over her riskiest hire yet, Audra Charles. Billy questions Sally's judgment, warning her that Audra's chaotic reputation will jeopardize the company and infuriate Jill. Sally, however, refuses to back down. She fiercely defends Audra, reminding Billy that everyone in their orbit has a complicated past. The standoff is interrupted by Audra herself, who arrives radiating a confidence that momentarily disarms even Billy. But Sally adds one more layer to the intrigue. She must report the hire to their new, unnamed, and incredibly powerful investor. Y&R spoilers. Kyle's vicious spiral. Abbott heir's obsession. Explodes in LA. Genoa City's golden boy is officially tarnished. Kyle Abbott, once known for his boardroom ambition and easy charm, has allowed his confidence to curdle into a dark and dangerous obsession. The object of his fixation? Claire Newman. When Claire left for Los Angeles seeking freedom and perspective, Kyle couldn't accept it. Viewing her departure as a personal betrayal, he followed her, masking his possessive jealousy as romantic devotion. His true target, however, is Holden Novak, the man who has become Claire's guide and companion. Kyle has rapidly descended from a concerned ex to Genoa City's least subtle stalker. He's been lingering in the shadows of Claire's new life, showing up unannounced, questioning her decisions, and suffocating her with his concern. But this obsession has now taken a professional and reckless turn. Instead of returning to Djibouti, Kyle is channeling his family's resources into a private investigation of Holden, desperate to dig up dirt and prove the man is unworthy of Claire. When his initial searches failed, he took a darker route, setting his sights on Sienna Beale, a mysterious woman with ties to both Holden and the Newman family. After spotting Holden and Sienna in what appeared to be a heated exchange outside her exclusive LA club, Kyle's paranoia went into overdrive. Convinced he'd found the conspiracy, he decided to confront Sienna directly. Kyle stormed into her club, dripping with the Abbott arrogance that usually gets him his way. He thought he could charm or pressure her into revealing secrets about Holden. He was wrong. Sienna Beale is not a woman to be intimidated. She saw Kyle for exactly what he was, a privileged, desperate man unraveling. She didn't flinch. Instead, with icy precision, she dismantled his interrogation, warning him to be careful. Sienna made it clear that prying into other people's lives might expose truths Kyle isn't prepared to face. The warning shot went right over Kyle's head. His arrogance blinded him, and he mistook her composure for conspiracy. Nick Newman, also in LEA, has seen the warning signs. He recognizes Kyle's obsessive behavior and has warned him to back off, but Kyle isn't listening to anyone. This entire chaotic quest is backfiring spectacularly. Every attempt Kyle makes to expose Holden only succeeds in exposing his own instability. For Claire, his confrontation with Sienna was the horrifying final straw. She finally sees that Kyle's version of love isn't about partnership, it's about possession. His protection is just a weapon of control. Tired and emotionally drained, Claire has finally walked away. She didn't need a dramatic confrontation. Her quiet departure was the final verdict. Kyle Abbott is left standing in the wreckage of his own making, having lost the woman he claimed to love, not to another man, but to himself.